So Phil, I know you're a competitive guy. Obviously, this is what you do for a living. But talk to me about those power rankings, man. I know you felt a little bit slighted as the folks down at MLSsoccer.com pegging you outside the top 10. I mean, the disrespect on Phil B's name.
So when I saw that, like, I wasn't even near the top. I was 12th, I think, on the power rankings, and I'm like, oh man, like, I don't think these guys rate me. Susanna asked me on the stream. She said, like, what do you think about the power rankings? I honestly told her, like, I think it's irrelevant. I'm gonna have to play those 10 guys that you have on that power rankings, and honestly, I'm gonna beat like majority of those guys you have on the power rankings. At the top 10.
Talk, Phil. Let's go. The 2021 eMLS season is well and truly underway, and we've got League Series 1 in the books with still 2 major tournaments to go coming up this season. What's going on, guys? My name is Eric Giacometti, and I'm pleased to be joined by none other than man that needs no introduction. It's Phil B, PhilB94. What's going on, man?
Hey, Eric. How's it going, man? Just living another day.
I'm still coming down from that amazing tournament run you had there in League Series 1. So let's kick it off right there. I mean, the 2021 eMLS season just kicked off. You're getting back into the swing of things. How have you been training in the offseason, and how did you feel coming into this tournament?
Oh, no, I felt pretty good, been killing it in weekend league, getting 30-0, even practicing with other eMLS competitors. I'm at the top of my game right now, and, that's how I went to League Series 1 with a lot of confidence.
So League Series 1 kicked off with some qualifiers, and after the first day, you looked like you were on the outside looking in, but you finished strong in day 2, earning that top 8 seed to get you into the quarterfinals. How did you feel you did through the qualifying round?
Honestly, when it comes to like playing online, a lot of the games are determined, obviously by, you being better than the other player, but sometimes it comes down to connection as well. Obviously, when you play against people that are far away, your connection isn't as good. But, I overcame that, and I got some huge results the final 2 days.
You talked about, prepping in weekend league, and then you have to make the transition to eMLS play. Is it tougher to try to adjust when you have to abide by those MLS rules and having certain players in your squad?
Yeah, I think it does create a bit of a skill gap because, when you play weekend league, you have the Ronaldo, Messi, your usual ultimate team players, right? But when you go to eMLS, you have 5 MLS players, right? So that you have to take into consideration that, you're playing with players that are, low rated, right? For the restrictions that MLS comes out with. And it adds a huge skill gap, and you have to adapt to it pretty fast.
So who are your go-to MLS guys? Any guys that you seem to have more success with?
I think the 5 guys that I had on my team were Opara, I think Aaron Long, Lima from Earthquakes, and I had Nani and Matuidi. So those are the 5 that I had to go with.
So talk me through that last day as you're fighting through some tough results. How did you get over the hump and get into that last 8?
Oh, when I played X Blue, which he was the first seed, I knew that was going to be a tough game, right? I played him in previous qualifiers for EA major events. I have beating him, and he's beating me as well. But I lost that game, right? And I was outside looking in, and I'm like, oh man, like I need to beat Kansas City and New York City FC to make top 8 pretty much. I was like, I have no choice here, I pretty much locked in and got the crazy results against, New York City FC, which he's arguably one of the most decorated, North American players in the FIFA scene at the moment, right? And also the Kansas City player is just as good as well.
So you did get into that top 8 with a nice push there towards the end, and then obviously I'm biased, but for me that quarterfinal matchup against DC United in King CJ, man, that was the match of the tournament for me. 2-legged affair, man. You go down 3-0, and I'm sitting there, I'm sweating at home. Man, Phil's going down early. He's got to claw his way back, and you had one of the best defensive records throughout all the qualifiers. It was really the attacking side of the ball where you were beating guys maybe 1-0, 2-1. So a 3-goal gap to close there. How did you manage to claw your way back into that tie?
Oh man, when I went down 3-0, I was just like, some of the goals I conceded were like kind of my fault, and I think I conceded a pen where I tackled it with Opara, and man, God, it should have been a pen, right? So went to
VAR,
halftime.
man.
Yeah, VAR. I feel like that should be an introduction into FIFA, but I feel like that would ruin the game as well. Yeah, I went down 3. Was it 3-0 at halftime?
Yeah, I
Right.
believe so. 3-0
Yeah.
first half of the first leg.
Yeah, and literally at the halftime screen when you get those 30 seconds, I was just like, in my head, I'm like, you know what, like I can make a comeback, because it's not like, regular season play where it's only one leg. It's 2 games, right? I just needed to score a couple goals to get back into the game. Man, right when kickoff scored, I think I had made it 3-1. He made it 4-1, and I answered. Literally, I freaking scored 3 goals to tie the game up, and I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, no way. Like, we're going into leg 2, and it's tied 4-4.
It's funny that you say that, because it reminds me, and I'm sure TFC fans will remember this one, the 2016 Eastern Conference Final against Montreal. TFC goes down 3-0 at the Olympic Stadium, and you think it's done and dusted, but as you mentioned, it's 2 legs, so you have a little more time to claw your way back into it. In that game, Josie Altidore, Michael Bradley get the goals, and then at the return leg, they're able to overturn the deficit. So I'm sure in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I still got another 90 minutes to play. I can work my way back into this one.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, I think that's what it goes down to when it comes to FIFA is, how mentally checked are you, right? As soon as I went down 3-0, I knew it wasn't over, because I had that second leg, and I came out firing off the gates in that second leg. Went up, I think it was 2-0. He ended up tying it 2-2, and then I ended up winning, scoring it to make it 3-2. And man, the aggregate was 7-6, and I don't think I've ever scored that many goals across of 2 legs in competitive play.
Man, I'm telling you, that had me on the edge of my seat. But for fans that don't know, maybe on the personal tactical level, King CJ is a guy that you've played quite a bit in training and getting ready for this competition. Does that make it even a little more dicey as you're trying to find those little advantages, and when you know his game so well and he knows you so well?
Yeah, that's the thing. He was one of my practice friends as well. We practiced at least like 20 to 30 games before League Series 1 kicked off. And the thing that when it comes down to those practice games, it's like you're not giving it your 100%, right? As you would in an actual game. So there was a lot of things that I knew he was going to do, but like it's like those fast reactions for me to stop it. So some of his goals were incredible, and honestly, some of mine he didn't have a chance of stopping. So it was it's crazy.
So you finish off with a Final Four finish, unfortunately bowing out to last year's eMLS Cup champion George Adamu from the New York Red Bulls. Talk me through a little bit of that matchup and what you saw, maybe what you learned going into League Series 2.
Oh yeah, I think that game I gave him 2 early goals, right? Those 2 early goals cost me the game, because going into the second leg of that game, I was down, I think it was 2-0, and then I had to kind of press. And then when you press, it's like you're playing with a lot of risk, All it takes is that one through ball that he did over the top, to send R9 throw on net to score. And honestly, if I play George again, I think I'm gonna have a great chance of beating him, because I know how he plays now.
You've been breaking down the film. You've been doing your homework, getting the X's and O's out, ready to go.
Yeah, honestly, he was this. I think he was the first guy that had the least goals, and I was the second player. So going into that game, you knew it was going to be a low scoring game, because he has one of the best defense in the league, and so do I, right? So it was just about who can score first.
Speaking of scoring, man, I mean, you had some incredible goals there. I mean, I'm sure we could rattle through them all, but I know you've narrowed them down to a top 3. So let's take a look at some of your best strikes throughout the tournament, because you were keeping fans on the edge of their seat. Some timely goals, some incredibly skillful goals, man. Just in general, what's your strategy when you get in and around the 18? For me as a novice, just watching you play, you're very methodical, swinging the ball around. You don't just take the first chance that presents itself. What goes through your mind as you're coming into it in the attacking third?
Being very creative, not making that obvious pass is like the number one thing. Being methodical when it comes down to me attacking in the final third. I like to get my opponent guessing what I'm gonna do, and hit him with like a change up type of thing,
So let's kick it off with this goal against SKC. You're in the day 2 of qualifying. You need to pad your lead here to get into that top 8, and then R9 delivers for you. What did you see on this one?
Oh, I knew it was like, you could tell it was the 45th minute. I had the last attack, and I'm like, I had to. Pretty much, I recycled it with Vieira, went to Neymar. Looked for Ronaldo, turned left stick dribbled, and as soon as right here when I isolated him with Opara, I know that R9 has this 5-star weak foot, right? So if I go either right or left, he's gonna have to, kind of guess which way I'm gonna go, and I literally went to R9's left foot here. See right there, I tricked him that he thought I was gonna shoot with my right foot, and I literally left stick dribble back to R9's left and finessed it into a goal.
He seemed to be Mr. Reliable for you. It seemed like anytime you got into the attack in third, you were looking to get it onto his foot. He's got to be one of your top attacking options now.
Yeah, 100%. That prime, R9, that card is something else in this game. Like, he's one of the easily best card in the game.
Wow, best card in the game. That's high praise from Phil B. But he definitely did work for you on that one and putting you into a great position to advance. And then moving on to another really tough opponent who ended up being the League Series 1 champion, Didi Crislito from New York City. A game that you had to have. Again, this is day 2 of qualifying. You need to get into that top 8, playing against one of the best players in North America, and some really good footwork at the top of the box to unleash yourself. Nice celly there too. Bill, break down the celly for me first.
Man, honestly, when I scored this, because I knew it was the 70th minute, right, to make it 3-1, I knew it was over. And I was just like when I scored this, I knew I was gonna be in the top 8, make it stream, and I just put my hands like this. And I was like, let's go, because I think you can't hear the audio of me scoring. I just went like this, and I'm like, come on, man, like I'm not going out.
I love that, and I see you pulled off a move that I saw just for a lot of the competitors using to their advantage in FIFA 21, which is that bridge move in around the box, knocking it forward, trying to create a little space. You seem to be working that one to your effects pretty well.
Yeah, honestly, that bridge move is effective when it comes to competitive play, pro versus pro. You'll see a lot of that, move being executed, right? And you have to see it right here again with R9. I gave it to Ronaldo, and I triggered the run with R9 to go through, for him to think that I was going to give it back to R9, and I literally turned and did the bridge. See right there, he thought I was going to give it to R9, and I did the bridge, making him select, I think that's Aaron Long, right? And I shot it with Ronaldo. I knew it was going in. Before I even shot that, I knew it was going in.
That's a nice little feather in your cap too. Obviously, unfortunate to bow out in the Final Four, but you ended up with a dub against the number 1 player at League Series 1 this year.
Yeah, and the thing about Diddy is, me and him have played each other in EA majors before, in Foot Champions Cups in Manchester, in Atlanta, Romania. Like, we've played each other like a lot on the global stage, outside of eMLS, and he's had my number at those events, right? He's beating me at those events, but when it comes to eMLS, I think I have his number.
It's a good number to have, considering he's the top dog right now, and you'll have another crack at him come League Series 2 and eMLS Cup.
Yeah, and honestly, he's a good dude. He's one of my good friends in the scene. So, like, it's always competition between me and him. But after we're not, when we're not playing, we're hanging out, talking in Discord or whatever it is. But when we're in the game, man, there's no friends.
Nah, it's no new friends, man. It's cutthroat. Coming at next 2021. And then here's another one of your guys on the scene, King CJ. This was that quarterfinal matchup I'd been talking about. Definitely the match of the tournament for me. Check out this one, man. I mean, you come back from a 4-1 deficit. He's hanging on for dear life, and then you pull this one out of the bag with time running down. You're holding it to the 90th minute. Boom, far post. Talk me through that one.
Yeah, I knew that I needed to isolate him for the last attack with R9. A bit of a left stick dribbling into the bridge. Like I said, the thing about Ronaldo is either left or right. He's a 5-star weak foot, so it doesn't matter which foot you shoot it with. It's going in the back of the net. And I knew when I had that chance right there, when he was defending with Aaron Long, if I did that move with R9, he was going to get past him with ease.
Man, R9 is beasting and feasting on guys out here, man. I mean, talk to me just in terms of the 90th minute. You need this goal to get yourself back in it. How do you keep your composure, man? You're down 4-1, you claw your way back. Basically, the last kick of the game, you get the equalizer. What's going through your mind?
I brought it back from 4-1 to 4-3. I knew I was gonna score in the 90th minute. I was saving it for that last attack. Like I was being so strategical with the attack that like I knew I was gonna score. And you see right there, he got frustrated, right? He got frustrated. Going into the second game, he obviously being up 4-1, you think to yourself, you're like, oh man, I just blew such a huge lead. Like I need to pick it up, and like I kept going. Like I was on a roll here. Like no way I was going to be stopped this game from scoring more goals, and I did end up winning.
It's funny how that works, right? You're down 3-0, you're down 4-1, and you're thinking you got the world against you, and then you claw one back, you claw two back, and all of a sudden the pressure shifts over to CJ, right? Because the field seems like it's tilted in your favor, and all the pressure's at him not to collapse, and it feels like you're bringing it to him. You're in his attacking third constantly, and as you mentioned, you were able to cap it off there with a really nice goal to make it 4-4, and then leg two, it was all about Phil B.
Yeah, no, honestly, like I knew mentally wise that I had to get him. I had to get him that leg. Had to tie it up because he was feeling the pressure.
And Phil, you got the cherry on top of the cake right here. It's another close match in the second leg, 2-2. You can see you're swinging around the top of the area. Another left stick dribble, put it on the left foot into the top corner. That's got to feel nice to put you up 3-2 to secure your semifinals berth.
Yeah, no, it felt sweet. Here I, recycled it with Vieira to Matuidi and then R9. Obviously, I knew he queued up to pause the game. He wanted to make some changes, right? But I didn't let the ball to go out of bounds. Like I was recycling it here, intricate passing, dribbling, because he's congested in the midfield, right? I have to go back. I can't just give him the ball. And as you can see right here, when I make that pass with R9 to CR7, I do a fake shot into a finesse shot right here. Look. Fake shot and then finesse.
Next level techers. You can tell that put him off balance, and like I said before, it's that next level where most players would just try to get that ball into the forward and square them up to goal as soon as possible. But you recycle the ball 2, 3, 4 times, wait for that opportunity to get him off balance. And again, that left foot has been doing wonders for Ronaldo for you in the box.
Yeah, that wasn't even with R9. That was with Cristiano Ronaldo too, and I was honestly. Like I had to shoot it with his left. I know he only has a 4-star left foot, but like I had to risk it there. That's one of those moments where I had to shoot it. Like look how wide open he got with that fake shot. There's no way I was gonna pass that up.
And so as a pro player, you've got to be cognizant of every player's strengths, weaknesses all over the pitch. You know that if you're on the right wing and you want to cut it into his left because that's his strong position, you're always aware of that, aren't you? When you're manipulating the ball left to right and getting the ball into the right positions.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like when pros when they play each other, they think about this stuff. Where the casual player wouldn't think about, oh, I'm gonna shoot it with Ronaldo's left foot. I don't really care. But when it comes to the game, that weak foot does matter sometimes. But there's certain situations where you have to risk it,
So League Series 1 in the books. Talk to me, Phil. What does preparation look like for League Series 2, and what are your expectations going into the next major tournament of the eMLS season?
Honestly, just to keep practicing with my friends, CJ, the United players, Chicago, just repetition over repetition with those players, right? It's gonna do a lot of things for League Series 2, And I'm not going to start off slow how I did in like day 1 and day 2, obviously,
Another big competition coming up in February. We got League Series 2 action. We got Phil B, who's going to be there representing your Reds, TFC. Phil, thanks for the time, man. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next one.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Eric.